Meeting will come to order. This is the April 7th of 2022 Park and Recreation Advisory Committee meeting for the City of Apple Valley. As is our normal procedure, I invite you all to stand and face the flag and recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. The first order of business is approval of tonight's agenda. Has the committee reviewed it? Are there any changes recommended by the committee or the staff?
No changes recommended.
Committee, anything? Okay, so we're looking for a motion to approve.
Yeah, I'll move to approve the agenda.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, so we got a motion by Hendricks, second by Shorey, and all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. No one opposed. That motion is carried. So now we come to a part of the agenda where we invite anybody in the audience to come up and speak to the committee concerning any item that is not already on tonight's agenda. So is there anybody out here who would wish to address the committee?
Hello, thank you for having us here today, letting us speak to you.
Thank you for coming.
My name is Ryan Glass. I'm here with my sons Aiden and Landon. And we have Nelson Schmidt and his wife Judy here with their son Nelson. And we're here to talk about a new Apple Valley skate park. So, I've lived here since 2012. In the time that we've lived here, the boys have had plenty of opportunities to play sports. They've played football, baseball, soccer, and so many fields, so many opportunities for them to play these sports. But as they've gotten older, they've found new interests. One of those interests is skateboarding, and our city is kind of lacking in a good skate park. So our surrounding communities of Burnsville, Egan, Rosemount have nice concrete skate parks that allow for really progression of the sport. The one here is kind of, I mean, it's small.
But be kind, be kind.
It's a little outdated, a few ramps and an ice skating rink. And we're kind of just hoping that we can sort of update that and have something that's more similar to our surrounding communities.
Right,
Our boys would also like to kind of say a few things also, so maybe Nelson, if you want to say something.
Hi, I'm Nelson Schmidt, and I'm about 10 years old, and I go to Highland Elementary. I've been skating for since I was 5 or 6, and I just sort of stuck with it because it was a fun sport. I think it was a fun sport because it sort of got me out of the house. It got me to get off screens, and it sort of taught me to meet friends. And I think that we should sort of get a skate park because then more people can enjoy it like I did.
I think that's a good idea. How often do you go to the other skate parks, Nelson?
In the summer, we go quite often. We go to Egan and Burnsville probably once, twice a week, maybe.
Are those your two favorites?
Yeah, probably. Then in the winter, we go to Third Layer in Golden Valley.
Oh. Well, good for you. You have a good speaking voice, by the way.
Thank you.
Does anybody else have anything
Eden.
that they'd like to say?
Hi, my name is Aiden Glass, and I'm 10 years old. I started skateboarding when I was 6 on my dad's old board from the 1980s. I really enjoy skateboarding because it's thrilling, it lets me meet new people, and it has taught me to keep trying even when things are difficult. At times, I find that skateboarding even allows me to relax mentally as I focus on learning new tricks. Skateboarding has given me great confidence, it's great exercise, and I like the skate community. Every time I go to a skate park, people are always giving me compliments and are willing to help me learn new skills. I think that the people in this community would really benefit from having our own skate park. Currently, our skate park is located in an ice rink and has a few rusty metal ramps. I do appreciate that it's there, but I would usually choose to go to concrete skate parks in Burnsville or Egan. I would love it if we had our own real skate park close to home, somewhere where I could even ride my skateboard or bike to, a place where our local skaters could be proud of, a place where people from other cities could come to visit. I want to thank you all for allowing me to speak tonight, and I hope we can keep talking about how we can make a great Apple Valley community skate park.
Well, that's really well said, Aiden. When you go to a skate park, do you wear all the protective equipment? Do you wear a helmet and so on?
Yeah,
Or
for sure.
do you? Have you ever gotten hurt skateboarding?
Yes. Everyone has.
Part of the game, I guess.
What is your favorite skate park?
Probably Burnsville. They have a nice skate park there. It's nice and big.
Do you guys skate only, or do you scooter too? I know my kids, I take them over and full of scooters, right?
Yeah.
All over.
My little brother, he bikes sometimes at the skate parks.
Nice.
I have another son, his name's Devin, he couldn't be here tonight, but he also likes to get that scooter to the park sometimes too, so. Yeah, lots of opportunities.
As I'm not a skater, but I've always thought it looks exciting. Can you tell me a little bit why having concrete equipment to practice your tricks and everything, why that's preferable over other materials?
I think that concrete is more reliable because, like, sometimes when I'm at the ice rink, like, there's chips in the ground that sometimes the wheels get stuck in, and when I'm going up the rusty ramps, like, the very edge of the ramps kind of are bumpy. But I like that we have something right now, but I would like if we had a real concrete one so we could skateboard more smoothly.
They are very smooth. So skateboard wheels are measured in millimeters. So any little bump, any little imperfection in the area can cause you to fall, basically. So it's a safety issue. There's more flow to concrete skate parks because they're built by professional skate park builders. So they have a plan for these. That's all they do is they build these skate parks, and they know what one feature is going to flow into another, what's going to be safe for the riders, what's going to be available for different types of riders, whether it's skateboarding, biking, BMX biking, scooters, things like that. So it really is built for the sport rather than just placed temporarily into a location. So.
All right.
Thanks.
Any other questions for the skateboarders? You know, the city has has a number of studies underway. You know, where we've hired consultants to look at some of the various facilities in the city and what we could improve and if there's something that should be added, where perhaps it would be the best location. And we don't have the results of any of that back yet, but our thought is probably that a skate park would be one of the items that would be included in this study, and we'll know more about this as time goes on. You know, nothing's going to happen this summer.
Right.
But you know, hopefully in the not too distant future, we'll be able to accommodate your desires.
It could be a great addition to the city. Somewhere central where kids can go, amongst all of the beautiful fields that we have for other sports. Just opportunities for kids that want to have a different activity. You know, maybe kids don't like team activities. They don't feel comfortable that way. They want to pick something up that's self-motivated, but they want to get outside and they want to have some activity.
Absolutely, rather than sitting inside and,
Right.
you know.
And we've talked to the owner of Zombie Board Shop in Burnsville, Sean Solom. And Ryan, I know you've had contact with
Mark Rodriguez from Third Layer.
And who else did you talk to? There's the Paul Forceline.
Yeah, he's with City of Skate.
He's
So
working on raising a lot of money in Minnesota, I think, getting some state funding for parks.
he's trying to work to get $15 million in state funding for Minnesota skate parks. So it's a kind of a matching program. So if cities are interested in building skate parks, the money that they put in is matched by the state, which is huge.
That is huge.
15 million is,
15 million would build one heck of a skate park, wouldn't it?
This is for skate parks around the entire state, and so $30 million worth of skate parks
Yeah.
could potentially be put in, which is great for everybody.
Yeah.
It is, and those owners of Zombie Board Shop and Third Layer, which is in Golden Valley, had said they would support and help advocate to get the skate park built. And then once it's built, they'll run camps and do different things that would potentially be a revenue stream for the city of Apple Valley.
Right. Is there profit sharing type community education where they're gonna bring their people in to teach the kids how to skateboard? And they'll do contests even, so they run contests in Burnsville and Rosemount where they have, skateboarders come in, and that brings people into the city too. So anything we can do to draw people in,
Right.
new features like this is gonna
sure.
bring revenue to the
Yeah, for sure.
city itself, so.
Well, listen, I know that that the city staff has your contact information, and Eric Carlson, and will keep you apprised of any
Yeah.
change in the situation.
Great.
Nelson, I have to ask, are you in Miss Downey's class?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Louisa is my daughter.
Oh, yeah. Aiden's
Louisa Henrik.
Aiden's in the class.
Oh, there you go. So I thought I recognized your names.
All right.
Well, thank you guys for this opportunity.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. Thank you, boys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, members of the committee, and for the audience, so as we move throughout the summer, we will, at least it would be my suggestion that at some point this summer, we hold some type of a public meeting to try to gauge what interest there might be in the community, on top of the folks that showed up this evening, and get them involved in the process, to find out, is there enough interest to continue the movement of doing something different from a skate park facility in the city of Apple Valley, and see how much interest there is, and what types of skate parks people would want. You heard tonight from this group of people that, concrete skate park, there may be other ideas or thoughts from other people in the community about what they might want to see happen, but get that group engaged in the process as we continue to move along. So probably wait for the skate park to open and start getting used, post some signs down there, get some things on social media, on our website, in the newspaper. We're going to have a public meeting on such and such a date at such and such a time. If you're interested in skateboarding, please come and participate in the process.
Yeah,
So
excellent.
we'll do that in plenty of time so people can put it on their calendars, and then again, participate in the process.
Wonderful.
Great.
Let's move on to item 4 on the agenda, and that would be approval of the minutes from our last meeting, which was in March. Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes? Are there any changes?
I move to approve the March 2022 minutes.
Okay, we have a motion by Hebert,
Second.
a second by Freed. All those in favor?
Aye.
No one's opposed. That's carried.
Mr. Chair, we do have a meeting moderator for online access this
Ah.
evening.
Correct. Moderator, are there any? Is there anyone calling in who wishes to address the committee?
Mr. Chair, we have no one who would like to.
None? Okay. All right, thank you. So let's, item 5A is the Eastview Soccer Club AED donation.
Mr. Chair, members of the committee, so as Mary approaches the podium, I'll just maybe give a little brief introduction. Mary Coleman represents the Eastview Soccer Club, and they're here to talk to the committee about donating an AED or two to the Park and Recreation System. And I'll let her go through her presentation, and I can be here and available to answer any questions during the conversation. So I'll turn it over to Mary.
Okay, thank you. So I'm assuming all of you are familiar with the Eastview Athletic Association. We're the Eastview Soccer Club, which was formerly known as the EVAA Soccer. We rebranded as a soccer club because that's what soccer or football clubs are known for. I have a huge presentation. I could go through the merits of everything. I could talk for an hour about this, but even in the past few hours, the entire proposal has shifted. We have a lot of cooks in the kitchen with this, so we'll just give you bullet points, what we're planning to do, concept approval. If we can get that tonight, that is our goal. But our overall goal with this project is to save lives. So I'm sure you're all familiar with the Play for Patrick Foundation with Mike Schoonover.
Yep.
So we've been partnering with him. He's been placing AEDs. He's been doing heart screenings for children, especially those who are in sports. As ironic as it is, athletes are 2.5 times more likely to suffer a sudden cardiac arrest than those who are non-athletes because they're exerting their bodies, especially with soccer. It is the most popular sport on the planet. And actually, it's very popular in Minnesota. I know we like to think we're the state of hockey, but we have a big presence in soccer as well. So with that said, athletes are more likely to suffer these sudden cardiac arrests. However, the types of arrests they suffer, I could go into the medical jargon, but I would mispronounce everything. They are more shockable, so they are more likely to be resuscitated with the use of an AED. And it is recommended by the National Association of Athletic Trainers that you have an AED within 3 to 5 minutes of every sporting event. That's kind of the standard. However, I found in my research that if you have an AED present and it is applied within 60 seconds, so just 1 minute, the chance of survival is over 90% for that athlete. So that is huge. Initially in this proposal, we were going to use 2 different units. One was a wall-mounted unit, and one was a freestanding unit on a concrete pad. And we've been partnering with Advocates for Health. They're a nonprofit association located up north of Minnesota. They have done AED units all over the country. And the nice thing about these, they're made Minnesota tough. They can handle our winters. They have passed the test of time. They're smart monitored, so we don't need to go out there and check, oh, is this beeping? Is the battery okay? It'll let you know. If they're pulled, it automatically calls 911 and anyone else you have programmed in the system. So they're really slick, can handle, I think, 60 below. So they're self-sufficient. Initially, we were going to propose having a wall-mounted unit and then another freestanding unit. Shifting things around this afternoon, now we would just like to have one freestanding unit at Quarry Point Park. It is in a rather inconvenient location, but it is close to where our soccer players play. So if we can get within that 60 seconds, that is really our goal. There's already a AED unit that's going to be installed at Eastview with the Play for Patrick Foundation. They're working with Matt Percival, who is the athletic director at Eastview. So we don't want to cover ground that's already being covered. We have a lot of fields over there as well. So that would be our proposal tonight, is to get concept approval so we can place an AED unit at Quarry Point, kind of by Field D, I don't know if it's still called that anymore, and the baseball field, and kind of right in between there by the porta potties, which would be central for all the soccer fields. And we would like to have a partnership with the city that the Eastview Soccer Club would pay for the initial cost of, of the unit, and then partner with the city so that they would pay for the maintenance, and then the Parks Department would cover the maintenance. So they would change the battery. On the 5th year, they would have new sets of pads every 2 years, and just cover the cost for that. So that would be about $550 for the year over 7 years, which is the life of this AED. So right on there, yep, so kind of.
Right in here?
Right in there.
Closer to the path, yep, right around that area. And it depends on electrical supply, and I realize it is inconvenient to get there, but it's, if you've ever had a field or a game on Field D trying to run, initially we're gonna go to the restroom, it is a haul, and that would not be within 60 seconds. So having one there would be wonderful for our kids. One of the types of cardiac arrest, one of the incidents is 1 in 500 for athletes under the age of 35. Well, I realize that's a bigger age range than we have, but we have 572 kids registered just for this spring alone. So if we can save a kid's life, because most of the time these conditions don't have any symptoms beforehand, that's why it's sudden. A few questions.
So, do I understand, Mary, that the soccer club would pay for the unit and pay for its installation,
Yes,
including the wiring and the concrete. This is a freestanding unit on a
Yes.
concrete pad.
yes,
Okay. Then after that, the city would be responsible for the maintenance.
yes.
That's,
And I have a breakdown of cost, but we had it with 2 units, but it's about $550. Oh, and $6 a month for electrical.
okay. Questions from the committee?
No, I think it's good. I've got kids in the soccer program, playing both here and Johnny Cake, so I think having that would be really good for them, yeah.
It's a pretty small investment for the city.
Well, I think it's very generous.
I think it's, the returns would be just huge.
It's a very generous offer.
Yeah.
So you're looking for, Eric, are you looking for a motion tonight?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, members of the committee, we're looking for the committee, if you're comfortable, to recommend to the council that we accept the donation and have this installed. We'll have to work with Mike and our park maintenance staff on some of the specifics as far as the exact location, the cost to run electrical to the exact location that we determine, et cetera. I think it's worthy to point out that we have about a dozen AEDs within the park system. There's one at Quarry Park, but it's inside the building, and the building's locked most of the time, so it's not all that accessible. This one will be accessible to the public 24/7, 365. So even if they're not there playing soccer, and they're aware that it's there and they're having an issue somewhere in the park, they can go and use it. We have a couple at the golf course. We have one at our ice arena, each of our ice arenas in the community center, at Johnny Cake. So we do have them in the community, but none of them are accessible 24/7, 365 like the one being proposed this evening. And that's what makes this one unique, if you will. What we'll do with the one at Quarry is we'll redeploy it to some other location within our park and recreation system. So it will not go unused or at least unavailable.
Okay. Okay, so I think we're looking for a motion then.
I'll make a motion that the committee recommended to city council that we accept the donation from the Eastview Soccer Club for the AED.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion by Freed, a second by Scory. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Nay? No? It's adopted. Thank you very much,
Thank
Mary.
you so much.
Good job. We're going to talk now for a little bit about the off-leash dog area rules.
Good evening, Chair, members of the committee. I just wanted to reiterate, I know you've had an opportunity to look through the updated ordinances that are proposed, Chapter 91 and 95, and also had an opportunity to look at the posted rules that go along with that as far as the off-leash dog park goes. And with that, basically keeping it kind of simple, I'm looking for a recommendation to approve those ordinance changes and the rules that have been proposed as well. So that's kind of what I'm looking for at this point.
Okay. Does the committee have any questions? Excuse me.
The one thing I didn't see in here, and I should have brought it up at the informal, I apologize, is the time. I see the hours of use, but the times of the year. So I'm assuming when there's hockey arenas there, that the
Right.
dogs aren't allowed in.
In the off season, so particularly April to November, is basically the time frame we're looking for. That could change one way or the other, depending upon weather and things like that. But as a general rule, that's about what's anticipated as far as being available to the general public.
Okay.
Is that consistent with other cities like?
If they're using a rink, yes. Yes. As far as remote specified dog parks, I can't say for sure, but I can imagine that a lot of them are accessible at any point that you'd want to use them, I guess, depending upon the weather, so.
Because we're talking about the transition then from the dog park to a hockey rink.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah, but I anticipate that's probably a good rule of thumb, April through November.
So, once again, we're looking for if there's no further questions or comments, we're looking for a motion to adopt the amended city ordinances and the rules as proposed.
So moved.
I'll
We have-
second that.
We have a motion by Freed, a second by Hendricks. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? No. That motion is also carried.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Mike. Now, I think we're going to hear a little bit maybe from Jim Zink, the golf superintendent, and get some division updates. Mr. Golf.
Weather makes you feel like golfing, 33 and sleet. 3.5 weeks ago, we were scrambling to figure out how we were going to get staffed up and open, and here we wait. We are planning on opening the golf course Saturday at noon and Sunday at 9 a.m., walking only this weekend. And then hopefully the forecast continues to be as incorrect as it has been the last few weeks, and we get great weather next week. As you guys know, we had we have the projects coming with the irrigation system replacement at the end of next season. This past winter, we did some tree management, both in anticipation of that project and also as part of that project, we're going to do a little bit of tweaking and redesign work. So we kind of got out ahead of that with some tree removal and tree management over the winter. I will say last night we had our men's club spring meeting for their league, and we had a great turnout, a lot of excitement. We expect that league to fill. It took quite a hit 2 years ago, as many of our leagues did with COVID and other things, and it had dropped down to about 65 players in 2020. Last year we had it back up to about 90, and this year we're expecting to be over 120 in that league. So
That's great.
golf craziness is continuing, which is great for us. And then next Thursday, we have our senior league meeting at 10 a.m., and we expect that league to be full also. So I really don't have a lot of other update. I thought I'd be talking about us opening, but we're not quite there yet. But for anybody that's interested, please go to the website, stop out and see us. Our golf lessons are filling. We offer lessons, women group lessons, senior lessons, junior lessons, and we have leagues for all different ability levels. So if there's anything we might be able to help you out with, please give us a call or stop out to Valleywood, and we will help you out. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Jim, could you just update the committee on the use of the banquet space and what you're experiencing in that realm?
We are seeing a boom to interest in banquet usage. In the written update mentioned that last weekend we had a retirement party on Thursday, we had a planning session on Friday, we had a wedding on Saturday. Inquiries are really rolling in. What we're seeing is that our banquet facility will seat 175. And what we're getting is a lot of requests, and people are really happy about that number because they want to have a little over half that many people. So we're getting a lot of interest from groups that are of anywhere from 80 to 120. And I think it's a little bit of fallout from the last couple years that people are dying to get out and get together and have events, but they don't want to necessarily be really in tight quarters. So we are very excited about the growth we're seeing, and it's pretty aggressive growth. So that will really help too to keep the facility full all the time.
Is your food and beverage operation up and running? And
We're getting
staffed
there.
and-
It was yes, we were open last night for the banquet. We'll be open this weekend. As obviously the committee knows, we took that back in-house last spring. With a bunch of very new staff. They did a great job. We've got about, I think we had 14 that we hired last year. I think virtually all of them are coming back, or at least 12 of them. So we've been very, very fortunate with our kind of staff retention between college-age kids, and retired people. There's very few in between, but we find that they actually help kind of recruit some of our other employees. So, and we also have noticed in the last couple weeks that a number of our retired staff, I think, are being encouraged to start getting out to the golf course more. So we're seeing a lot of that staff stopping in. So yeah, and we're going to expand the menu a little bit as the year goes on, and as our staff has gained more experience. We did that last year, and we are very, very encouraged with everything we're seeing, except the weather.
Yeah. That's great.
So.
That's great, Jim.
April 9th, what's that compared to previous years?
It's actually about normal. I think over maybe the last 20 years, probably our average open date would be April 7th.
Okay.
But with the way it's been the last 2 years, and last year we opened, I think, March 27th. So we already feel like we're playing catch up a little bit. But for us, a big key are those league numbers. They play the men's league on Wednesday afternoons, for example. They play 16 weeks, and they prepay. So by boosting those, getting another 20, 30 members in that league, we're hoping to, yeah, and it continues to generate revenue all year. So we're really excited going into the season. We just need a little better weather.
Yeah, that's like 400 extra rounds of golf, right?
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah, so.
Anything else?
Jim, how are you promoting the banquet facilities? I mean, how do you get the word out to people that this is available? And
We do it a number of different ways. We obviously have brochure and information in the facility, and then we do it through social media, through our Facebook page and Instagram and Twitter, and then we do it on our website as well. And this year, we're also advertising with one of the wedding sites, which are shockingly expensive to advertise with, some of them. So we were able to find one that through their online medium, none of their print stuff, we were able to do it at a fairly reasonable cost for us. And one of the things that's so appealing for our facility is not just how nice the facility is and the location, but the fact that a renter can bring in virtually any licensed caterer, as long as they get in touch with us and agree to our terms and we get our commission. It's very appealing to the public to be able to have that flexibility. And we have caterers we work with a lot that, if somebody doesn't have a caterer. But yeah, we're kind of trying all avenues we possibly can. And then one of the things we do when we get them to come in, whether it's a call or if they actually come in for a tour to find out where they heard of us, to try to better streamline that advertising going forward.
is parking an issue at all?
No, it actually, it works out quite well. The only time it becomes an issue is if, and it's rare, that somebody wants to rent the room during the day, during the summer. One of our regular renters is the school district, so they don't really rent it during golf season. And, by 4 or 5 in the afternoon, the parking lot's starting to empty of golfers. And then it'll start filling for the weddings and other events. So we really, knock on wood, other than the annual high school section cross-country race, we run into very, very few parking issues there. So hopefully that continues.
That's great.
All right.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
We have updates in our packet on recreation and on the arenas. Is there anything else that we need to cover? Or?
No, we can just stand and answer any questions you may have.
Does the committee have any questions?
I have one, just general, I know seasonal staffing, and just wondering if you have an update of how that's going overall for the city. And
all of you have a job application on your desk. You're expected to fill them out, and you're expected to work 40 hours a week in one of our jobs. Now, we hire between 250 and 300 people, especially during the summer months. At least 100 to 125 of those are lifeguards for our aquatics programs. Like many employers, we are in need of employees, and trying to find every avenue that we can to get the word out, either going to schools and meeting people and letting them know that we're out there, to social media and things like that. Hopefully word of mouth is helping as well, but we are in need of employees. If we don't find enough, there may be some things that we're unable to provide. We might not be able to open up a facility, as an example, if we don't find enough staff, but we are actively recruiting. And so if you know of anyone looking for a job, if you know anyone that might not be looking for a job, but you need them to have a job, point them our direction, and we'd be happy to put them to work. You know, the working for the city is really a great opportunity, especially for our young people. Gives them a chance to obviously learn some new skills, meet some people. It's a great resume builder. They learn some leadership skills and some responsibility skills. But I think they also learn about what it means to give back to the community. And you know, again, if you know anybody looking for a job, please point them our direction. And it's good pay and it's a good work environment.
Do you have enough lifeguards for both pools this year?
No, we are still recruiting. We have probably, as of Monday, we had about 75, and we probably need another 50. So, yeah, we're still looking.
What's the minimum age?
Yeah, you got to be 16 to be a lifeguard.
Yeah.
16 to be a lifeguard, and we will actually pay for their training. So, in the past, pre-COVID, you know, they would have to come to us certified, and it costs a couple $100 to get certified. So we'll pay for their certification. We'll teach it to them, you know, so it's, you know, it's kind of our in-pocket cost, but we'll certify them so that they can work for us to be lifeguards. I mean, trust me, you don't want me out there with a Speedo on. So we're hoping to find some kids that are qualified.
Yeah, I've got a question. I know, Mike, last meeting you mentioned you've got to be 18 to be on the maintenance staff. Eric just said you got to be 16 to be a lifeguard. It seems odd we can trust a 16-year-old to save a life, but we don't trust them to mow the lawn.
Yeah, unfortunately, the operation of equipment requires being 18 years old.
OSHA.
Yeah, it's OSHA driven. So and the pool regulations kind of are different around that, but OSHA is definitely the driving force behind it.
There's not other raking the fields or lining the fields where they're not driving equipment that you could.
Unfortunately, we haven't broken that down yet to where we can bring younger staff members in to do specifically those tasks without putting them in equipment. That might be a further conversation moving forward. And frankly, if we're running lean on staff, that might not be a conversation, it might be a reality.
Yeah, just curious.
Mike, did you have anything that you wanted to specifically say as far as the park maintenance or our, I mean.
I can give you a quick update.
Good evening, Chair, members of the committee. Thanks for having me again. Just a brief update on the park maintenance side of it. We are really kicking into high gear. Obviously, the weather that everybody's been talking about has kind of put us in a pause mode, so to speak. But we'll be busy getting, you know, all of our 90-plus fields ready. Over, 400 acres to mow. Roughly, 54 playgrounds to inspect. 13 buildings to get up plumbed, and because a lot of them are closed down for the winter, get them connected, irrigation systems throughout the whole park system to get up and running. Volleyball courts, tennis courts, everything like that, the nets up out there. What else can I give you here? Obviously, we talked about the pools a little bit. That's a large undertaking for the big aquatic center to get that up and running. We typically spend, as we speak right now, we're starting to work on some of the stuff in there to get it prepared. Even when the weather's terrible, we can do some things inside to get up. That building is also winterized, so there are a lot of fixtures to reassemble, put together. It's a large undertaking to get a facility like that up and running timely to get it opened up by beginning of June.
Other items that I've got here, we'll be working on some of the shade structures. You know, we've got a few of them throughout our park system that we'll be putting together. Kelly Stage has got one that usually comes down every year. We've got a large shade structure that goes to our Quarry Point Playground, a series of 3 of them that go out there. That's we'll get that up as well. Cedar Isles has got one. Namingly, there's a handful of them at the pool as well to get put together. I can give you a little bit of a staffing update too. We're still posting externally for our maintenance 2 position. The void that was created, we had a gentleman retire and we had someone move into the foreman's position at that point, which created a vacancy in our maintenance 2 position. So we have just, as of this past week, opened that position, and it's advertised externally. It'll go out for 12 business days before that closes. And speaking of that, I've sent a few people to some classes too. We've got a couple of our maintenance staff that are taking an online course at the Ohio State University for turf management. It's a 30-hour course that they'll be taking that requires testing to pass that. And I've also got 2 members of our staff that are taking their certified pool operators licenses as well. So this time of year gets busy, those opportunities open up for those, and I do what I can to get the education out to our staff. With that, I'll stand with any questions you might have. Mike, do you think the new dock for Farquhar will be able to be put in this year?
Yeah, that's on our radar to get out as well. Once we get our initial push for the spring, everything assembled and put together, that's one of the first things we'll do. I had on the docket we replaced a bunch of boards. You might have seen that in your packet, the Cedar Isles bridges there. We were actually able to accomplish that when we had that stretch of nice weather a couple weeks ago. So those boards have all been replaced, and those bridges are in really good shape structurally with the steel. They just needed board replacement. So they should last another 25 years for sure. But yeah, I think it is, we're waiting for the weather to break as well as Jim, to try and get things up and going. Some of the games that were scheduled already for tomorrow had been canceled, so we're waiting for things to break.
Did we get the furniture and whatnot for the pickleball courts in, or what?
We did not. Thanks for bringing that up. We are going almost into a full year for the picnic tables and trash and recycling receptacles for the pickleball courts. They have not been delivered yet. I do have a date now, I'm hoping this holds true, of May 19th to get those other items in. We'll have some temporary units there for now that will suffice, but we haven't received delivery of that. Supply chain issues seems to be haunting everything.
Well, there were some shade structures too, were there not?
Yes, we do have those, and they will be put in as well. They're going to be a little more involved. They take footings because they're self-supportive. We'll have to open things up, pour the footings, stabilize them, but we do have them.
Right. Anything else? All right, Mike, thank you very much.
Yep, thank you.
There's an announcement in our packet concerning the Apple Valley Arts Foundation Kelly Park Music Series. Eric or Doreen, did you want to talk about those briefly, or is that just FYI?
Mostly just FYI, but there'll be, obviously, the music series will happen again on Friday nights at Kelly Park, and it's put on by the Apple Valley Arts Foundation. They're going to be presenting the schedule to the City Council on May 12th, I believe is the date that they're going to present that to the City Council. So
The schedule, that's in our packet, is that what you're saying?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, the first concert will be on the 17th of June, and they run on most Friday evenings through the 12th of August, weather permitting.
Okay, our next meeting is Thursday, May 5th. Are there any other announcements or comments for tonight? And hearing none, I think we're looking for a motion to adjourn.
I motion we adjourn.
Second.
Okay, motion by Scory, second by Lisa, and all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone, for coming.
Thank you.